And welcome to Front Porch Friendly Fairport. Today we're really pleased to be able to share great news with you. And to do that, I'll be introducing Ed Bradford, the chairman of Fairport Canal Days, who's worked so hard with many of the assembled people behind us here. But before I do, I just want, because nowhere in his notes does he have a note to praise himself. Ed has been leader of this organization for many years now. Through a couple of really trying years, has provided outstanding leadership, working with all the elements that need to come together for Canal Days to happen each year. And I just want to acknowledge Ed's leadership and thank him very much for that. And with no further ado, Ed Bradford.
Good morning. My name is Ed Bradford. I'm the Fairport Canal Days chairman. With me today are County Executive Adam Bello, Village Mayor Julie Demeretz, Village Chief of Police Sam Farina, presenting sponsor Evans Bank, Canal Days sponsor Ide Family of Dealerships, and a few members of our volunteer committee. After a one-year hiatus due to COVID, I am pleased to announce Fairport Canal Days will return in 2021. The festival dates are June 5th and 6th. While it may look a bit different this year, we are excited to hold this event for our community. The Fairport community by nature are an optimistic bunch. Once we were able to determine we could hold a safe event, we got to work to make it happen. We would not be here today without the assistance of others who have helped us implement the proper protocols, obtain the required approvals from the village, county, and state levels. I want to thank the following people and organizations. First off, our sponsors, again, Evans Bank, our presenting sponsor, and Ide Family of Dealerships, our Canal Night sponsor. Without their funding, we would not be here today. I'd also like to thank County Executive Adam Bello, Jeff McCann, Monroe County Executive Office, Star O'Neill and Dr. Michael Mendoza, Monroe County Health Department, Vinny Esposito, Empire State Development, Village employees, Village Manager Brian White, Village Code Enforcement Jason Kaluza, Village Chief of Police Sam Farina. These three have had our backs from the beginning, and they gave us the energy to move forward. I'd also like to thank from the village Mayor Julie Demeretz and village trustees. I'd like to thank Supervisor Kieran Hanna from the town of Perrington, Assembly Member Jen Lunsford, New York State Senator Samara Brook, Scott Winter from the Fairport Partnership for a Better Community, Nicole Parlato, and all of our wonderful volunteers on our Canal Days Committee for their tireless effort. As you can see, it not only takes a village, sometimes it takes a town, a county, and a state as well. Once again, thank you. I would like to invite our guest, Monroe County Executive Adam Bello, to say a few words. Before I do, I'd like everyone to know it was Adam and the County Executive Office who helped us get over the finish line by communicating with the state when we needed it most. Adam?
Thank you. Uh-oh, channel 10? There we go. Awesome. Thank you, Ed. And I just honestly can't tell you how excited I am to be with all of you here this morning for this great announcement, and how happy I am to say these words that the Fairport Canal Days is back. And this has really been obviously a tough year. We all know last year's festival is canceled, as were most all festivals last year because of the pandemic. So after all we've been through over the last year and all the sacrifices that we've made, we really need now some good news, and we need to start looking forward to getting back to that sense of normal, getting back to that sense of community, and doing what we do best, which is celebrating everything that Monroe County has to offer. And that's what Fairport Canal Days is all about. It's one of the cornerstones of the kickoff to the festival season. And so I want to thank the committee chairman Ed Bradford, Fairport Mayor Julie Demeretz for not giving up and for working through all of the different issues that we have related to COVID restrictions from New York State, and for planning the days here and making sure that this happens. And I want to thank all of the organizers for this. You know, today's announcement is the return of Fairport Canal Days is an encouraging sign that we're slowly but surely returning to getting back to normal. The increasing numbers of people who've been vaccinating is really giving me a lot of hope that this trend is going to continue. Right now, as you know, we're currently celebrating the Lilac Festival. It's the first community festival that was kicked off during COVID-19 in nearly 2 years. And so all while it's different than years past, it's been a success so far nonetheless. And so it proves that we can do festivals, we can have successful events, we can do these things outdoors, and we can do that safely. Because studies have shown that outdoor events and gatherings do have low rates of transmission, especially when proper mitigation measures are put in place. And that's the type of measures that I'm putting in place here. So I encourage the public, please come out. Please attend the festivals, do so safely, wear your mask. I encourage folks to continue to get vaccinated. But again, I cannot thank Ed and the team for your vision, for your flexibility, and your creativity to make this event work. I cannot thank the Village of Fairport enough, Julie Domeretz, the mayor, for all of the work that's gone into this, the entire team standing here behind me. And I also want to thank Vinny Esposito, again, at Empire State Development, for working hand in hand with the governor's office to make sure all the approvals came through on time and in time to make this event happen. So thank you again so much. I'm looking forward to attending this event and getting back, like I said, to normal. And would encourage, too, while I'm talking here, any other festival organizers that are out there that have questions about what the future looks like, questions about how to apply the guidance to have festivals this year, please reach out to our office. We're happy to help, happy to offer this assistance so that Fairport Canal Days is just the first of so many more festivals that we're going to have this year in Monroe County. So thank you all very much again. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite the mayor, Village Mayor Julie Domeretz, to speak. The mayor and the village trustees have shown unwavering support throughout this whole process, and we'd love to hear a few words from you. Thank you.
Isn't this a great day here in the village of Fairport? It's gorgeous outside. And we're hoping for the same kind of weather when we get to June 5th and 6th, maybe even a little warmer. I want to take this opportunity to thank County Executive Adam Bello, Dr. Mike Mendoza, and their teams for their support, as well as the entire village staff, but most importantly, Village Manager Brian White, our Code Enforcement Officer Jason Kaluza, Superintendent of Public Works Paul Feely, Chief Sam Farina, and our FMC or Fairport Electric staff for all their support that goes into this project every year, except for last year, to make it happen and make it look like a seamless activity. In addition, I want to thank the dedicated group of volunteers from the Fairport Merchants Association and the Canal Days team that have just persisted to make sure that we could bring this event back to the village of Fairport. I think of the Canal Days as being synonymous with Fairport on the Erie Canal and the kickoff to spring or to the summer festival season. So I'm so excited that we're able to bring that back to Main Street in the village of Fairport on June 5th and 6th. I hope you'll all come down and join us. And lastly, Ed, you already stole my catchphrase. I like to say that it takes a village, and this is a great example of the great things that we can do when we work together. It takes a dedicated group of volunteers. It takes a county. It takes assistance from the state, from Vinny Esposito. It takes the staff of the village of Fairport, and it takes the volunteers of this group, and it's really, it takes a village to make these things happen. It takes a lot of people, and I'm so thankful that we have them all here in the village of Fairport. Please come and join us on Main Street June 5th and 6th for Canal Days. Thank you.
A few details about our festival this year. The festival will occupy a smaller footprint than normal. All the activities will take place on the north side of the canal. There will be approximately half of the usual artisans and vendors. All placement will meet current social distancing guidelines. All vendors and guests attending the festival are asked to observe and respect masking, social distancing guidelines, and protocols. The festival will have a maximum capacity at any time of approximately 12,000 people. This will be monitored by our security staff with support from our village police department. We will have live incidental music performed at 2 stages. We will have approximately 160 artisans, merchants, and food vendors. Canal Nights and the duck race will not happen this year, but hopes to plan for their return next year. Festival parking will be available in municipal lots off of South Main Street, pedestrian access to the festival via Parker Street Bridge. We will provide more information on our website, fairportcanaldays.com. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Fairport Canal Days. Now I'd like to bring back Scott to unveil the poster for 2021.
Mayor, if you could give her a hand at the appropriate moment, I'll let you know when that moment is, in case I'm incapable of making it otherwise evident. So, every year for the past 15 years or so, we've done a poster contest. The reason we do a contest is we know we have a lot of creative people in this community, and so we ask them each year to send us their ideas for an annual poster. This year's official... You can't beat a train. Okay. The official poster of Fairport Canal Days this year is called Fairport Celebrates, and it's by Elaine M. Schmidt. And if you'll do the honors. According to Elaine, I grew up here and actually attended the West Avenue School. It's in the painting. It's now condominiums. I did my homework in the library that is now a museum. Mom and I actually had a booth at the very first Canal Days, which was just a circle of tables around a parking lot at that time. That would be about 45 years ago. I love Fairport and its history. So many of the places in the painting hold memories for me. My children grew up participating in many of the activities depicted: the crew team, band, scouts, kayaking, and Parenton ambulance. Now my grandkids frequent the library, the boardwalk and canal path, the new train depot, and of course, the ice cream shops. It's been a wonderful place to grow up and raise kids. I loved doing this painting. So you can tell it's really from the heart. So for those interested, posters can be purchased during the festival at the information booth on North Main Street, and the artist will be there from 10 to 1 each day to sign your poster if you wish. And that's it for me. Ed?
Thank you, Scott. To wrap up, it's been a very long year. The Canal Days Committee is excited to return. We felt it was critical for our community, our economy, and our mental health. If anyone has any questions for our guests, please feel free to ask them at this time.
Scott, I know there was we talked about it earlier, just the economic impact that this has on the village of Fairport. It's a pretty significant one.
Yeah.
Can you step up to the...
The mayor can probably augment this. When we thought that our biggest problem in this community was going to be the lift rich being out, it was a kind of a quaint thought. We did some research. The Office of Community and Economic Development did some pedestrian counts on both bridges. And then we asked our merchants in the community what their busiest times of year were. Very non-specific, but what are your peak sales volume periods, regardless of the nature of the business? And then we overlaid those two bits of data with the annual festival schedule. And what that demonstrated is that with every festival we do, there's a corresponding spike in economic activity, the largest of which is for Canal Days. Subsequent August, when we have Music Fest, Oktoberfest, which follows after that, each have a similar level of increase in economic activity. And there's even a small blip when we do our annual Christmas kickoff in early December. So we know empirically that festivals make a huge economic impact on the community.
What about guidance from the state? I'm not sure who can address that. What have you been hearing as far as what has to happen and communication with state health?
So the bulk of the conversation has been with receiving guidelines from the Monroe County Health Department. We do have to file an application with the state, and that was where Adam's office helped us continue those conversations. We've submitted a safety plan that was given to both the county and the state, and they were reviewed, and there are no concerns.
With the 12,000 capacity, do you get a sense of what the capacity would normally be, I guess, at any given? I mean, it's hard to say. It's a sea of people, but, you know, just even a ballpark figure, how many might you have, say, on a nice, hot Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon?
It's been kind of a running joke with us. We have no idea, to be honest. I would say that our capacity probably is in upwards of 50,000 people at any given point. So it is going to be a smaller festival, and it's going to be at a smaller footprint as well. We'll have hand counters at the entrances to keep track. We'll have both security team as well as the village police watching the density of the crowd, and we'll react to it if we think it's getting too large.
So what happens if person number 12,001 shows up? Do they wait until the appropriate time?
Yeah, it'll be a 1-to-1, so when someone leaves, we'll allow someone else to enter. I don't anticipate that that'll happen, but that would be our plan.
Adam, Dr. Mendoza and yourself have said for weeks that you want outdoor festivals to happen if they can, and you're willing to work with festival organizers. We know some high-profile ones have already canceled this year. Talk about, I guess, the importance of having these and how hard you guys worked with the organizers to make sure they could.
Yeah, no, we are, Dr. Mendoza and I are huge proponents of these outdoor activities, festivals, because at the end of the day, we have to get back outside. This is where it's safest. Outdoor events and gatherings like this have proven to have low levels of transmission, so these are safe events, and so we should be encouraging safe activities, and being outside is one of those. So this took a Herculean effort though to get it done, as a lot of events do. The Lilac Festival took a lot of planning to pull that off. As you could see from the Fairport Canal Days, this took not just the village of Fairport, but it was the village, the county, the state, the planning committee, an awful long time, and a lot of hard work and a lot of people working to make this happen. The police department. So it takes a lot. And it's hard to fault those who need to cancel, because part of the problem here is that when guidance for festivals and outdoor activities takes so long to be published, festival organizers have essentially a runway they have to meet in order to put on and launch a festival. You have to hire, you need to sign up vendors, you have to hire security, you have to, there's a lot of things that you have to plan for, some of which cost money. And so not knowing what that guidance might look like in August or September, when you have to lay out dollars now, is a challenge for festival organizers. So you have to work through that. The Lilac Festival worked through that. Fairport Canal Days worked through that, and I would encourage others to do that, because this is just too important. We've been locked inside now for well over a year, and we got to see our friends and family again. We got to get outside, and also we want to make sure we're sending a good message here about vaccination. As we get those large vaccination numbers, and people are safe, we need to then understand that we can encourage more events. We can encourage more gatherings, because we can do so safely. I mean, what's the point of getting vaccinated if we can't start getting back to normal? And this is, I think, a big piece of that.
Has that guidance been clear, and has it been timely?
No. I wish it would come a little earlier, just because you have that runway, right? That there's festival organizers. You talk to the Park Festival, who I've spoken to. They have tens of thousands of dollars in outlays they would have to have made by now, not really understanding what the guidance could be. So it's a very difficult position to be in. But I believe that we're in a good place now, that festivals can take place. You just have to be creative, right? And that's what they've done here in Fairport. They're creative about understanding how many vendors you can have, limiting capacity. How do you limit capacity in a big outdoor space, and count the people who are here? But they put in the work and they got it done.
Any plans to do what you're doing at Lilac Fest and have a vaccination tent or something
Yep.
set up?
We haven't had that conversation yet here, but potentially, I suppose. But the Lilac Festival, the vaccinations there have been going very, very well, and I'm delighted. People, we've changed our strategies on vaccination because there's a lot more vaccine now available, and we're able to do a lot more community-based vaccination sites, which I think is working very well, and we're going to continue to do those. We're in schools coming up. We anticipate the CDC today will greenlight adolescents 12 to 15 to be able to receive the Pfizer vaccine, hopefully starting tomorrow. And that, again, is just going to continue to build towards that point where we have enough people vaccinated that a lot of these restrictions will go away.
We're still looking ahead more than a month, but with the vaccine process moving along, does having this offer the prospect of encouraging people at that point to get the vaccine as a billboard or a promotional campaign?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Obviously,
Charles?
there's plenty of people who may get vaccine between now and then, but what happens if then we see an event like this? Is it another opportunity just to encourage anybody anywhere to get vaccinated?
Yeah, all these events are ways to encourage that. That's why we're at the Lilac Festival. Just making the vaccine as available as possible, I think, is our job. Right, that's our job. And working with festival organizers, working with school districts. We even worked with the Rochester Red Wings to do vaccinations at Frontier Field in preparation for the season opening up. Making it available where people are, where people live, connecting it to activities I know that we want to do, I think is important. I think that's a big piece of it. Here it's working. We asked the school districts if they wanted to partner with us. You've got graduations and proms and things like that coming up. They couldn't wait to partner with us to host these vaccine clinics right in the schools because that's where people live, that's where families are used to going to or are comfortable going to it. We also had an effort, Dr. Mendoza and Dr. Bennett had a lot of conversations with primary care physicians this week about encouraging doctors, if they can, to take the vaccine at their practices, because again, that's where people are comfortable. They can have conversations with their doctors. And again, I would encourage on vaccine, and then we'll get back to the festival, but I encourage anybody out there who's hesitant to get the vaccine. If you're a parent, like I am, of an adolescent who's going to become eligible here to get vaccinated, talk to your pediatrician, talk to your doctor, talk to the people you trust with the medical decisions about your care, and then understand what the benefit is of taking that vaccine, and ask those questions of your medical provider. Don't turn to Facebook and Twitter to understand medical advice. That's not the place to go. You got to talk to your doctor.
Who wants to address any of the fun challenges ongoing with the bridge?
Sure. So, I've had people asking me month after month through this winter into this spring, like, how's the bridge impacting your community? And I really have to say, the only impact of the bridge being up to our community is really that people want to get back to normal, and they see that being down as a sense of normal. If you walk around and talk to our merchants, with the exception of a few who are located up close to the bridge, most of our merchants will tell you that things are going okay. It's not the bridge, it's COVID. And we really see that COVID provided an opportunity for members of our community to really innovate and transform their businesses, and I think that's important to know. But the bridge, the Department of Transportation has been in frequent communication with us. If you go to the Village of Fairport's website, fairportny.com, you'll see a weekly update. We have a weekly meeting with the DOT. Today we're looking at mid-June as the opening date, and they face challenges that many of them were COVID related as well, not necessarily from the staff that's working on the bridge itself. They've been working the last few weeks, they've been working 2 shifts a day, 7 days a week. It wasn't the staffing at the bridge being there to do work. It was the parts that we needed manufactured that were very, very specific and individual to our bridge that held everything up. It wasn't the folks who are working on the bridge. So it'll come down. Our village will go back to busy traffic on Main Street again. And I think that people are just tired of what's gone on the last year, but truly, the challenges that we faced were not necessarily bridge challenges, they were COVID challenges. And I'm so excited that, especially with this event, that we're going to be able to step past that into a sense of more normal in our community. And, oh, by the way, the bridge will be opening shortly after Canal Days.
Any concerns about the festival being on the north side of the canal and no bridge?
No. You know, the safety concerns we have, Parker Street, those safety concerns of having this passageway through our village have been addressed by our public safety team, Chief Farina and our Department of Public Works, and I'm not concerned about that at all. And as being a proud North Sider of the village of Fairport, it's about time that we got our own festival on the north side of the village. I grew up there, and I still live there today, and sometimes we're a little underrated, but we're a scrappy group on the north side of the village.
Let's make that our last question. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much.
One last thing. I'm really thankful for the officials that are and our sponsors. Without them, we couldn't be here today. But I'm especially proud of our Canal Days committee. What you may not have heard before is we're entirely volunteer. This is a year-round festival that essentially we're stuffing in about 90 days. And probably 90% of that is going to be done in the next 2.5 weeks. So I'm very proud of the hard work that they are putting in, really for no benefit of their own. We're doing this for the community. I'm excited that we can bring this out to this community. I'm thankful for our officials, I'm thankful for our sponsors, but like I said, the last thing I want to end with is how proud I am with the committee and how tireless they are in making this event happen. Thank you.
Going forward, folks, if you have any questions regarding the festival, just give me a call anytime. Be happy to help you out, answer those questions, arrange interviews, and whatever else you might like to be doing with this. Okay? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Organize for a picture.
We'll get a quick photo.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, want do some pictures?
Quick picture and then. Okay, cool. They just asked me to ask, but I have to ask. Or you can approximate. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.